Hi there. I was gonna wait to make this video, but I just felt like it was really important to make it now because, I had a dream last night. I tried to talk to my family about some problems I was going through, and they kind of did not care. And it's kind of like they were trying to turn me small, and then it happened again in my dream. But anyway, I'm supposed to tell my story because in the Bible it says the saints that stood accused the Antichrist or whatever, accused the saints before God 24/7, and they overcome with the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And so I've tried to do this a few times this past year and I haven't really gotten any response, so I'm making another video. Jesus saved my life through mushrooms and medicine for the people music in 2015, in the very early of the year. After that was when my new life started. I got all these gifts of music and dancing that I felt were more than before. It was like the best thing in my life, and I knew that it was like my destiny. And anyway, that was like the year that when Trump started running. And I know now it's all connected because it's the freedom fighters in America. And I didn't even realize till later that like Jesus was like using Trump. But anyway, so I had all this special awakening with the music and the gift of dance bestowed on me, and I started dancing in a big way. Like it's almost like all I knew is I could feel like I was dancing to overcome and dash away any hopes of any evil forces that threatened my life or the love that God had shown me. So anyway, a couple of years later, I got into all these big mistakes. I had a baby with a man that was actually not the man I thought he was, and turned into the worst nightmare of my life. I ended up, I'm not telling all the story, but I had to go to the mental hospital right before my son was 2 years old in 2018. Well, because I started getting demonically attacked and I couldn't understand what to do. Those attacks had started sometime before that, but it was getting to the point that I was going to try to kill myself because I was trying to escape it somehow. When I was in the hospital, I was going through even more spiritual attack by the hospital staff. And in the spiritual realm, I sometimes had visions of it being like this video game in the spiritual realm or computer game. We're all different players on different teams. There's like the dark and the light. And I started hearing I heard keywords like I heard blue, star, Hopi, Kachina, hope for the future. I was also with Mike Love and Jordan Walker, who are musicians, and later on with Anonymous. And they were helping me in the fight, and Mike Love was even supporting me in the spiritual war. And I went through all these different kind of like programs of where it was different villains and the different good guys fighting with me. Anyway, not to explain all of it, but I did even have this underground scene where we were like, what I believe now is like akin to Babylonian captivity of the Israelites, because that's what it was like. We were at Zion and we were fighting. Anyway, I went through so much hell, but years later, actually a few years ago, last year, 2 years ago, I went to this concert, and I finally heard somebody talking near me that gave me the clue, and it said Elijah in the hospital. And then a month after that, God told me Jesus showed me Mike Love was John the Baptist. So John the Baptist comes with the spirit of Elijah. And so I feel like that's why I've been like going hard against the Jezebel, because I feel like that's part of that same story. But anyway, I was out on the Hopi reservation. I got called out there during COVID, and that's when I met all my friends on the Hopi reservation. And they don't even really know who I am that much, but some of them do, because I got confirmed into Kiva. I was told, yes, you are a legend. And so not only that, but I've been there with some other prophecies of the Bahana. The Bahana entered, which I haven't talked to anybody about this. God told me this would happen. On Mother's Day last year, there was a Mother's Day dance in Hope Villa, which I'm kind of skipping ahead, but fine, I'll go back. So there's 2 big dancings that I've been part of. I was going to enter a choreography competition to get a grant in Ohio, so I made a dance video to some Mike Love songs. I made 2 videos. One I tried to submit to the grant writing people, and the other I ended up posting on Instagram. I posted at midnight on the night of October 7th, 2023. Upon my awakening, I then saw that Israel is now at war. I had very intense visions that weekend. I'll talk about my visions in another video. Or maybe I should talk about them now. The first vision is all these things were happening, and then I suddenly got put in this room when it was rows and rows of flaming skeletons without numbers, like fields of flaming skeletons. And then I know that these are souls that the devil has killed, or that the devil's lies have killed, or have them stuck in fire. And the devil was my same enemies, which I consider the Antichrist and Jezebel, or somewhat like them. But my Savior was like the word of Jesus, and my family was there, like my father. And so they were like pulling me through these rows and rows of flaming skeletons. And then I got stuck somewhere because I thought I should pray for them, which now I know that was probably stupid, because you're not supposed to pray for the people that are in like deadly sin or something, but they were pretty much done. I don't know. But I got put in this room. All this stuff was moving without my permission, and I see that as like the war. Not just the war against Jesus, but the war against me that's attacking me. And then my friend Shelly, who I'm not really close to now, but she said drugs don't know God. And I realized the people on drugs don't know what they're doing. The next day I had another dream, and it was kind of like akin to, I feel like it was, I don't know if it was Daniel's friends, Ashrak, Meshach, and Abednego. And it was like the devil, they want me to do what they say, whatever, force worship, which is all a lie. And I said no, but they'll try to like force me. They were like trying to take off my armor, because they were like, ooh, the armor, we'll take off the belt. And I was like, no. They were basically like trying to breach or break into my soul, which is what they've done a lot to me. They're really, really evil. They've done that many times. They're fucked up, including some of the other times that put me in the hospital after attacks by then, because I've been in the hospital more than once. But anyway, so then I got called right back to the Hopi reservation. And when I was out there, this is after the war started, and I started seeing blue stars spray painted on the buildings, like of the Jewish people. And that's when I put that together, that the blue star was Israel. And that's when I put together, well, duh, because the blue star, Hopi Kachina. And then I was like, well, duh, because it's like John the Baptist and the spirit of Elijah. That's Israel. Like, hello, Jesus sits on King David's throne. Anyway, the next thing was which I haven't told anyone, but I'm going to do it now because my life is being threatened. And so I'm going to stand on the word of testimony. I know Jesus Christ is the truth, and I know He's working miracles even unto our day. And on Mother's Day, I heard that I was told to go to this park, and then I got this message. And the message was, go to the park on a Sunday. I went there, and then I got this message that the Son of Man will be delivered unto death and will rise again in 3 days. I even forgot, and then I was like, well, I'm going to go to the dance now, since I know I got sent to the park. Then I went there. I even kind of forgot. I was wearing my Israel jacket that I made. I made a jacket with a blue star on it, and I was going to put beloved star, but then God told me to put Israel. So I like made it. I don't know if I can get it out right now, but I was wearing this jacket. I even got harassed by like a Hopi dude who's tried to say I was taking pictures, and I was like, well, sorry dude, I'm not doing that. I freaking lived out here for a long time. I know the rules. I'm not here taking pictures. But he didn't believe me, and I was like, well, I guess you don't know the truth because you wouldn't believe me. And I'll show you my Canyon. Hold this up. Hold it up. Anyway, I was wearing that jacket on this day.
The prop boom.
Oh, you can't see it that good. Kenyon, you're not doing a great job. Why don't you put it on? Anyway, I wish you would do this better. Put it on right. So I made this myself. I like embroidered it and I cut out the letters. It says Israel. Come on, Ken, you don't have to do that. Just wear it normal. Wear it normal. So yeah, I was wearing that jacket. And then I forgot. And all of a sudden I did see these one dudes and I was like, I felt kind of bad because I felt weird about them because people always look at me like I'm white, so I better be friends with other white people. And I was like, I don't know though. Anyway, but they were cool because then I saw them later. One dude was out there dancing. Then all of a sudden, the dude came out. And he came out and he said, I am the Hopi Bahana, all this stuff. And he's like, I came here to, cause I was sent here. And he was like, if you don't listen to me, you're gonna die. And I was like, oh shit. And then, they were kind of like, what? But I was like, wait. And like, then they took him off and stuff. Because I don't remember exactly what happened. And then this girl next to us was like, he kind of gangster though. And I was like, yeah. But then I was like, shit. I was like, God said this was going to happen. Because then they said they're going to arrest him. So then I like went to go try to see him and stuff. And then that's when I saw him like push him away. Like they didn't believe him. And then this is how Jesus works. He literally said this was going to happen. And he always did this. He came upon his own people, but they knew him not. And that is a Bahana prophecy too. Because they don't know and they don't believe that it is the Christians. They don't believe it because they have bad experiences before. But it is the real Jesus. And so I almost got arrested that night too because I was like, I'm not gonna, Jesus said my kingdom's not this world or someone would step for me, and I was like, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna go stand up for Jesus. So I tried to tell them who I was, but they said I was crazy. Basically, they put me in a cop car. I didn't really even get to tell them because the cops rolled up right when I was telling them. And then I was like, God said this was going to happen. He told me. And then they're like, we don't believe in your God. I'm like, it's the same God. It really is. But they don't know because I've also had dreams and visions and visitations from Kachinas. Anyway, and I see you, Canyon. Anyway. So anyway, after that happened, luckily my friends pulled up right away and got me out of the cop car because they were threatening taking my son and all this stuff. And I was like, I can't go through that. So anyway, I never got to meet the guy. I talked to him and I was like, God told me this was going to happen. Don't worry about it. I'm busy. I told him it was going to happen. I was like, God told me this was going to happen and all this stuff. Anyway, so this is the first time I'm even speaking of this because me and my son said we would keep it a secret. But you know what? I'm telling my testimony because I know it's real and I have more to say. No, didn't you hear me say I'm busy? That's the eggnog and it's old. Anyway, 2 or 3 days later, I still had forgotten once again that God said that this was going to happen. And oh yeah, also this was around the same time. The day I took my cat to get fixed is when the new pope was chosen. And I was a little worried, but then... Anyway, I was a little worried, but then God showed me, expect better. And then, that same time, 3 days later, exactly when they said that Christ would rise, he put, like, greetings from the risen Christ. And it was, like, at the time of my phone number growing up. I was like, I know this is from God. So, like... God says, I say, John 30:17, God came not to condemn the world, but so that through him the world may be saved. These are major miracles in this year, in this lifetime, about the second coming across and the prophecy being fulfilled and global awakening. And I think I'm really so happy, and I'm so sad that I see so many people that are just, instead of like really following God and being close, they're like, they just rail on any institution. And I'm like, but are you close? And it's like, it makes me so sad. It's like, this is what I'm saying for Christians. Don't care and just sit around here talking shit about people. Study the word, crucify yourself, give yourself to God, give your life to God, do a long-term fast, do something to seriously get you close to God so you're in his good graces and so that you don't lose out. Because a lot of people don't know what's going on and a lot of people aren't walking that close. And it makes me sad because it's like, all kinds of influencers and stuff. And then even the Hopi, I was out there this one time, right? I went through so much drama when I was out there, but I'm part of the prophecy, like literally, that's my gift. And like, that's what it's talking about. I need to share my identity in Christ, but I'm out there and then God told me to go plant in the garden. And I went. As soon as I got done planting, this kid came up and started telling me, you can't plant here, what, you're Bahana and all this stuff. And I was like, no, I got permission and nobody else is planting. And then after it's like somebody bad always comes first. And then God sent this other really, really cool kid, my favorite kid out there. And he was like a Hopi kid. And he was like, no, this is good. This is the old ways we love each other and we grow food. This is what it's meant for. And we were like saying these prayers. And then I had this dream about Masant, which is the Hopi, that's the Hopi guardian of the earth who gave the Hopi way and who gave them all the prophecy. And he's real. So it's like, then they were mocking me and laughing at me when I tried to tell them about it. But you know, the Hopi elders, what they're really supposed to be doing, the ones that are there now, is encouraging and loving their children and teaching them ways, and don't make fun of them, because you guys are too hard on them. You need to teach them in righteousness and lead them, and you need to study Jesus' teaching, because he's the Bahana to come back to make you righteous again. That is Jesus Christ, our righteousness. Jeremiah 2:36 and God, or 23:6, and God showed me the Bahana in the plaza. He showed me not my enemy's number. It appeared to me that night in a vision, but the number 236. And he's been showing me that number because that it's all connected. All of the things are all connected. There's no coincidences. So anyway, that's me finally like sharing that. I'm sharing that with the world because I know it's real. And so anyway, that's me and my story. And God told me that I was going to lead a lot of people out of darkness. And so I also have more part of my story to tell, but that's the specific blue star. So I just had to say that so that I can tell my story, so that I'm not getting smaller. People aren't gonna make me small for no reason. I came here for a reason. I came here to dance for the future and hope in God and righteousness. So anyway, peace.